Hi Angie. I wanted to make you an extra video and I'm utilizing some samples that I wanted to show you and give you a little extra oomph to help our skin get back on track here because I know how dry you've been. And so, you've already watched the video on how to use the Time-Wise Miracle Set and that's going to be your basic skincare that you're going to use every day. These are going to be some extras that some can be used every day, some are going to be used, a little differently. But I wanted to walk you through all of these, and text can get long and voice notes can get a little confusing. So I wanted to make you a special video so that we could walk through, I could hold them up and give you a little more detail. And that way you can come back and reference this video and all that good stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is removing makeup as well. I'm going to include a different sample for you. But when we're removing our makeup, and I have a sample, so I'm going to grab it. When you're taking off the CC cream or whatever, I'm not sure what you're doing right now, but I have a couple of options for you. If you are a micellar water girl, then I am going to include a sample for you of our micellar water. And the reason I'm going to include that is ours is very concentrated and it doesn't overstrip your skin, which if we are dry, it's super important to not overstrip the skin. A lot of makeup wipes and a lot of micellar waters out there are going to remove the good oils down in our pores that we want actually to leave there, because as dry skin people, we need to retain as much moisture as possible. So we want to get rid of the dirt, get rid of the grime, get rid of the dead skin cells that are blocking our products from absorbing. But we don't want to take away all of our oils. We have to do a much more gradual process. And that's why even with the cleanser in your little mini skincare set that you're getting, the Miracle Set, you might have to do, cleanse every other day or only once a day, only in the morning or something like that, or, maybe at night for you. If you're a makeup wearer, nighttime, we definitely want to get the makeup off. But that might change, kind of the landscape of that until we can repair your skin and get it moisturized again. So our micellar water is very concentrated and it is going to remove more, but kind of leave your skin, hydrated as well. So I'll include a sample of that. And then the other way that I actually prefer, just personally, depending on how much makeup you're wearing, I prefer to use one of our other cleansers to take my makeup off. And you think I could find it? Here it is. This, I put on the sample makeup cleanser. It's not called that in the catalog, but to me, it's my makeup cleanser. It's our Time-Wise Repair foaming cleanser, and foaming usually means very drying and for oily skin. This is made for women over 40 who have, drier skin. So it foams, but it's not going to be a stripping foaming. It's a very gentle foaming. And what I would do with this, what I prefer to do, is I like to put it on my hand. There's enough for 2 in there. So you can scoop half of it out, put it on your fingers. The less makeup, the less cleanser, I would say, in this instance. Put it between your dry fingers, put it under the faucet, get a little water on your fingers, and then just start getting all your makeup off. Cleanse everywhere. Don't cleanse the eyes. If you're not using a good eye makeup remover, like a liquid one, not a makeup wipe, let me know, and we need to talk about that too, because that's super important. Cleanse here, cleanse your neck. You should always cleanse your neck, but obviously if you're wearing your foundation down to match to what we really want to match to is this area, because this is always darker usually than our face, so we actually want to match to that, and that's going to be the most uniform look. But do all your cleanser wherever your makeup is. This does a really good job of breaking it down and melting it off without tugging or rubbing or pulling or scrubbing or anything like that. It's so gentle. It's lovely. Now, I personally still use the Time-Wise Miracle Set Cleanser, the one that's in your mini skincare. I use that one anytime I'm not wearing makeup. because this foaming cleanser is wonderful, but it's super concentrated. A little goes a long way, and I find that I tend to overuse it if I am not wearing makeup, and it just dries my skin slightly past the point that I want. It takes a little too much from my skin personally, so I recommend the Time Wise Miracle cleanser for anyone who has really dry skin, and then this for makeup. The reason I don't typically like to use my micellar water is I feel like I have to use like a couple different pads to do that. And I just really like how the cleanser gets everything off. I find I don't have like breakouts from like leftover makeup or anything like that. I feel like it does a really good job. One other thing I should mention about this sample of this micellar water is these aren't my favorite cotton squares, but this is just what I had. I sandwiched these into each other so that all of the product is on the inside. So the outside is this kind of fluffier cotton, and the inside is more of a pressed cotton. You're going to use the pressed cotton side, and you aren't going to need the whole thing. You could even maybe cut them in half and make like half pads, because it's so concentrated. It just keeps pulling, and if you use too much, you're going to, cleanse anyway, but I find my skin feels a little sticky because it's like overdoing it. It's not going to hurt it or anything. I just know like, oh, I used too much today. I don't need that much because it's very highly concentrated. So that's kind of the cleansing piece. So we talked about cleansing, we need to talk about exfoliating, and then we'll talk about hydrating. Now your skin is really dry, which means there's probably lots of also dead skin built up. And this is a product that we used during the facial you did, which was, I know chaotic because you were kind of having a fun time in the bathroom, so it's hard to listen. But this is our Microdermabrasion, Refine, and then our Pore Minimizer. This has aluminum oxide crystals, and what they do is they are gritty and they remove all the dead skin. You need water with this as well. It's water activated. I'm going to suggest using it in the shower. It's the easiest way to do it. And because your skin is so dry right now, sometimes it can be tough to exfoliate because the abrasiveness and like the intensity of exfoliating can be a little too sensitive on our dry skin. It's kind of got that like, ooh, stinging feeling. So I'm going to teach you a cool way to use this that we can still get some exfoliation in, but we're not going to damage the skin further, and we're going to make it more comfortable. The Pore Minimizer is something that doesn't replace a moisturizer in any way, but it helps to nourish and calm the skin after using this product, and it can be used every day as like another layer. So that's exfoliation. Now that can be twice a week in the shower. Let's start with once a week and kind of work our way up and see what we think. Something I want to show you, this is our extra emollient night cream, and I've given you a mini tube and it's going to last you a good amount of time, so that's exciting. This is my demo one. This is a thick cream product, so you can tell this is stiff. It's not moving, it's not sliding. It is a thick product, and I am going to suggest you use this two ways. I use this every night at bedtime, or most nights I should say, which I'll explain why, as my last step. I've done my moisturizer, I've done my nourishing oil, and the last step I'm going to use is this thick product. And what it does is it creates this great barrier on our skin to not let water loss happen overnight, or less water loss happen overnight, and keep our products pushing down into our pores, into our skin, and not escaping. Water loss happens a lot at night, especially because if you think about our pillow, whatever material yours is made out of, it's, some form of a cotton or, silk is kind of a little better because it doesn't absorb as much. But if you're using whatever you're using for your pillowcase, when you think about this and you're sleeping, especially if you don't sleep on your back so that your face isn't touching the pillow, you're sleeping on your pillow, and it's drawing and pulling the moisture out of your skin. It's absorbing it just like a towel would absorb a puddle of water. So it's pulling all that moisture overnight from your skin. So what this is going to do is going to slow that process and not let it happen as much. So I take, about this much, maybe even a little less. You can play with it. If you use too much, it just feels thick. It's not going to hurt you in any way. Put it between my fingers, And then I like to do my eyes, actually, around my eyes, because my eyes get really dry. So I do that too. And then just everywhere around the face. If you want to do your neck, great. And then since I don't need that on right now, I'm going to put it into my hands. Really great for your hands too. You're just going to make a thin layer, and that's going to really, really boost the speed at which we can rehydrate your skin. Another really great thing is facial masks, like sheet masks. I'm not including a sample today, but a hydrating sheet mask is really, really great way to make like leaps and bounds towards repairing the moisture in your skin, because you set it on and then you sit with it for 30 minutes or so. I like to watch TV and lay down so that it's like pressing into my skin and gravity's helping that absorption rather than it sliding down my face. But it's really great because it kind of does, its own version of this, where it's like trapping the product in. It can't go anywhere because it's just going to come back to the mask and have to go back down. So that is a really great way to really make leaps and bounds in repairing your skin's moisture. So if that's something you want to experiment with, let me know, because it's a pretty affordable option too. So the way that I want to teach you how to use this, other than at night, as your last step over your moisturizers, is with the microdermabrasion. So I already said we should use this in the shower because we need water, and we're going to use this extra emollient night cream to help us kind of soften the blow of exfoliation. So before you get in the shower, or as early as you can, up to an hour or whatever time you shower, I don't know. So if you're a morning shower, do it when you put this on when you wake up. Don't worry about cleansing and all that, because we're actually going to do it in reverse. So put your layer of this on. And then I want you to get in the shower, and I want you to do your hair washing, do your body wash, if you're shaving or whatever you got to do all those other things first. Then come back to your face last. And the reason is you're going to put this layer on before you get in. And one of the ways this product can be used is you can put like a really light layer of water underneath and then put this on, and that traps it in. And our face needs moisture, right? Water is hydrating. So I don't personally use it that way, but I like to do this when I get when I get in the shower. I'm putting this on first. The steam and the water is going to like drive it into our skin and help push it into our pores. So I'm doing that while I'm showering, rather than, sometimes when you get out of the shower, your face feels tight, painful, and you're like, I need something on my face right now. This is going to help prevent that and lessen that. And we're actually going to be able to kind of like hydrate our skin while we shower, which is pretty cool. Now, the second thing it's going to do, we're going to actually do like our skincare backwards in the shower. This is going to create a barrier on our skin. We're going to want to get this off, right? You wouldn't want to wear this all day before you put your CC cream or whatever other products you're putting on your makeup. So we're going to get it off with the microdermabrasion. And this is going to also dilute these crystals. So we've put some hydration onto our skin to kind of create this barrier and build up the hydration before we're exfoliating, because we have to do things gradually with dry skin and sensitive, which all sensitive skin is dehydrated pretty much for the most part. We got to gradually do it. We have to do like really gentle cleansing, really gentle exfoliation, and really good hydration. So this is going to make these crystals kind of diluted. And while you're doing this, you're going to scrub everywhere. But if you have really sensitive dry areas right now, like for me, this is always my sensitive area, I just scrub less here. I start out here, because you're going to have the most concentration of crystals right away. Scrub out here. Sometimes the forehead can be very tight and sensitive, but if it's not, do a little there, put some on your nose. Definitely do your neck and do this chest décolleté area. So good for that. But yeah, if there's somewhere it's really sensitive, just do a little bit and be done with that. But we're going to get some exfoliation. And then to kind of top it off, then we're going to finish with our cleanser in the shower. So use your Time Wise Miracle Set little cleanser. Do a light, little teeny bit, super concentrated, do a light cleanse. And then I think you're going to notice when you step out of the shower, your face is a lot better, looks healthier, doesn't feel quite so tight. and all that stuff. And then whatever you're going to do after your shower, I don't know if you get dressed first or whatever your process is. In the time leading up to, you would then do the rest of your skincare, your moisturizer and your day cream and all that. Don't dry off your face yet. Just kind of leave that little barrier of water, and that's going to also help protect your skin from dehydration. So that's the microdermabrasion, and then I kind of skipped ahead with this too. The other form of moisture we can use is a time-wise renewing gel mask. This was the last step we did in our facial. And actually, let me back up one step. One of the other products we used was our nourishing oil. So I put some nourishing oil in a little perfume bottle because it does not travel well in these pods. It leaks out. But I did give you a pod. So when you get this, you can open this up. Don't be too aggressive. I like to twist it off slowly. Otherwise it like pops off and you don't want to spill it. Then you can dump it into here and close this because it's easier to get out of here, but it doesn't transport well. So that's why. The nourishing oil is going to deeply, deeply nourish and hydrate your skin. It also is another good product that creates one of those barriers on your skin. And so put it in here and then dip your finger in, and this is going to be after your moisturizer. So it's going to be the last step, before makeup or before this. You're going to dip your finger in, put a dot there, dip it in, put a dot here, move that around, see how far you get. If you need more up here, whatever. This is going to be enough for like 2 to 3 applications. So just see what difference that makes for you. And if you want to wait and put that on in week 2 or whatever, I know there's a lot of things here. So I would also suggest let's not use all these at once. Let's get comfortable with one, see how that goes, then incorporate something else you're comfortable with. You can just see the differences that they make in your skin and which ones you like the best and which ones, would be beneficial for you to incorporate. But this can be used every day, like as a second moisturizer. We need lots of layers of moisture. Everyone does, but especially us dry skin girls. So this is something I absolutely love. It is my favorite. And then, so the moisture renewing gel mask. This is a really great, this is almost like I talked about face sheet mask. This is like this without a sheet mask. The sheet mask is still going to do the most, but this is a good second level. And it's like a sheet mask in that it has more botanicals and like aloe properties, kind of like a cooling moisture, where this is going to be like a thick moisture, like that big giant, rush of hydration. This does something different. It really gets deep in our pores and helps soothe that redness and the dryness in a different way. And I love this. So something else you could do is a couple nights a week or one night a week, whatever nights you don't want to do this, put this on either last, like over your moisturizer, and you don't need a lot. You're going to rub it around and it's like a cooling gel. It can feel tacky if you use too much, but it's not going to hurt you. It'll dry down soon. And you're going to sleep in it overnight. If you find as you experiment that you like not wearing your moisturizer under it better and just do your cleanser and then your night serum, if you're doing nourishing oil, you can still do that and then put this on. It is going to do like a different type of moisturizing for your skin, but also really, really helpful. So that is a lot of options. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, and we can still talk on the phone and like work through these too. The last thing I have for you is the foundation primer that I initially promised you for under your CC cream. This is a clear, translucent product, okay? And there's enough in here for 1 to 2 applications. Don't be afraid of this. It's not going to hurt you in any way. All you do, scoop some out and you put it all over your face, just like, you would your foundation. Anywhere your foundation is going to go, this is going to go. What it does is it fills in like all the pores on our skin, the scars. Like I have a couple really deep scars on my face. So you can imagine where our pores kind of grab and settle makeup in them. This is going to prevent that settling. It's going to prevent oiliness, which I know is not a problem for you, but it's going to like control shine, let's say. And it's going to just make our makeup last longer, wear better, be more flawless. And a really cool way to see if it does anything beneficial for you is to put it on half your face. Like, no one's going to be able to be like, oh, her face is just like two different faces. It's not going to be that crazy, but you will be able to see like whatever side you're using. If I'm using this side, like, oh, my makeup's not breaking down as much. It's lasting longer. I have a lot of issue with like my nose breaks down because our nose is just like the most volatile place ever. So I really load up there, and it's made a huge difference. And you can't really use too much. Like, sure you can, but it's not gonna affect anything. You're gonna be good. So there's a lot of products to start with here, but just don't get overwhelmed. Start with one. Maybe start with just the skincare trial for 1 week. See how that goes, and then we can start adding in some other things, because then I want you to be able to see the difference of what just the skincare does versus like these other pieces that we can group together to give you the best, best skin you can have right now, and then just also speed up the process. So we can still talk. Don't feel overwhelmed. I'm going to walk you through all this, and I think it's going to make a big difference in your skin.